My more mature colleagues have been telling me for some time that these days would come. These days when I look toward retirement and begin to realize the last. Each pastoral act, each festival celebrated for the last time as a parish pastor. And they were right. It comes very bittersweet. There is a sense in which there is relief that this is the last, but a mourning that this will be the last time I will do this particular service or this particular act. And as hard as those moments are, today is not one of them. Today is a day I looked forward to being my last. The last All Saints Sunday as a parish pastor. For me, having been in this community and in this congregation for well over 40 years, All Saints Sunday is a bitter Sunday. Each year, as I read that list of names of grace that have gone before us to the church triumph, I also see now the hundreds of those whom I have said farewell to, who have sat in the pews and walked the streets. It is a painful day. A day that I look forward to not having to celebrate again in this way. But even in the midst of my grief, on this last All Saints Sunday, God has given me a gift, a baptism, a reminder of the circle of life, of that holy mystery of birth and life and death and resurrection. It is a reminder that even on a day like today, when we remember those who have gone before us, even now, God is recreating humanity in the births and the baptisms all around us. St. Paul writes, even though our outer nature is wasting away day by day, our inner nature is being renewed. Even now, we experience the gift of the resurrection, of new life, of a daily dying to sin and rising to new life, of a gift of a new day to live and thrive, to celebrate with friends and family, a precious gift, a gift of rhythm, of birthing and dying and birthing, until that day when our baptisms are complete and we ascend with the faithful who have gone before us. It is good to remember that Paschal mystery, particularly on a day like today. But it is not only the Church who experiences the angst and the blessing of all saints. But we as a nation stand today anxious, fearful, as we enter into this election cycle. What will be? What will we lose? How will we be affected? Will our country ever be the same again? So much fear and anxiety. But in the midst of all of that, in the midst of all the bitterness and the dissension and the divisiveness, there is a promise that come Wednesday morning, God will still be God. And God will be bringing forth new life out of death. And one believes, one has to believe, that regardless of how the election falls, God is in the midst, recreating, bringing forth new life and a new way of being. It may not be pleasant or comfort for many of us, but God shall be God, and there shall be births, and there shall be deaths, and there is the promise of the resurrection. And there is a child again to remind us that even in the midst of all of this turmoil, life goes on, and God is God.